This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. In the last episode about using stories to be memorable, listener Andreas asked how to create powerful stories that make content memorable and motivating to an audience. He claimed that I'm a genius, and I modestly protested that it's nothing special. I've since discovered that I was wrong. I am a genius, and for an appropriate fee, I'm thrilled to apply my genius to help you create compelling, memorable stories that raise money, acquire customers, get you a job, or help you become a powerful leader who can take over the world. Just visit steverobbins.com to contact me. And in that episode, we discovered why stories are so memorable, how your content becomes the plot of the story, and how we need to begin a story so that people get drawn in and really want to hear the rest. Now, that was all about the conceptual planning parts of the story. Today, we'll discuss creating the specifics. Creativity demands a notebook. First and foremost, grab one of those little 3x5 notebooks and a pencil and carry it around with you everywhere. A lot of the ideas for stories come from real life, and you want to be able to jot them down quickly and easily. Use a paper and pencil because, as I've mentioned in previous episodes, research shows that handwritten notes get retained more thoroughly than electronic ones. You want that. You want it all bouncing around in your unconscious mind so that these ideas come back and they come out when you need them. A computer can log them, but they won't come to mind when you need your creativity. Find your characters from real life. Every good story needs characters. Characters are easy. I just take them from real life. When you meet someone and you think, ha ha, what a character, that means literally write them down. Make a few notes as to their defining characteristics so that you can weave those into your story, and voila, you have your next protagonist. Here's my cast of characters. Bernice and Melvin are based on my real-life high school friends Becky and Everett. Becky was a strong-willed owner of her own store, and Everett was a computer geek. Europa comes from the 1981 song Europa and the Pirate Twins and the mid-90s sequel Eastern Bloc. With a name like Europa and a background as a pop star, it was obvious that she simply had to be the secret mastermind controller of the entire Eastern Bloc. Thomas, her android son, is of course the composer of those songs, Thomas Dolby. Why an android? Well, I always thought that Dolby's hit song She Blinded Me with Science was about an android. I was wrong, but the association seemed fun, so I kept it. Europa and Thomas made their debut when I heard that Thomas Dolby was about to release his first new album in several years, and the characters were my way of paying homage. Plus, Europa gives me a character who's really a business expert, so she can chime in on certain topics in a way that the other characters can't. Grandma Cuddles is completely fictional. Audrey 2 is the man-eating plant from the musical Little Shop of Horrors, and MG, the new intern, is a real person. He's an investigative journalist, MG Lee, and in fact, he's voiced by the real MG. Characters develop personality and story arcs. Once you have characters, you need a story. As I said in part 1, my story is often just a tip. The basic elements of a story are that you need some goal that the characters want, a conflict that keeps them from getting there, and then the story is the journey around the conflict. The goal can be an external goal, like taking over the world with a zombie army and cornering the world's supply of Oreo ice cream cake, which coincidentally is the plot of my zombie musical at worklessanddomore.com. The goal can be internal, like resolving the conflict, falling in love, so forth. Sometimes the story gets resolved in a single episode. There's a problem putting together the Audrey 2 watering system, and it gets solved via that episode's tip. I also have a looser story arc going on about Bernice and Melvin's wedding. Originally, Bernice was planning it without letting Melvin know that they were getting married. He figured it out, and the wedding is on. I just don't know when yet or what surprising thing will happen to create a plot twist. Capture humor. When you come up with a funny joke or a situation that you might want to work into your story, write it down in your 3x5 pad. Writing it down pounds it into your brain. Later it may come back on its own, or you can just browse your notes to add some humor. Over lunch, I realized that Grandma Cuddles runs a summer camp for brain development and focus to help her distractible young campers learn to concentrate. She calls it her own little concentration camp. I think that's adorable. Find the awesome in real life. I'm not very good at coming up with fictional scenarios, so I do steal a lot from real life. When something in real life excites or charms or alarms or mystifies you, use it. In my episode on measurement, I mentioned that I can only do 12 pull-ups and MG does 64 every time he works out. That whole exchange was real. I was so proud of my pull-ups, and he supportively shared that he does 6 times as many as I do, daily. Another scene from real life, I went to Sleep No More. It's a retelling of Macbeth through interpretive dance. It's performed in an empty school where every room has been transformed into a scene or a place from the play. And there's a lounge with a live jazz quartet where you can go and relax if it gets too overwhelming. At one point, Macbeth pushed by me and I got covered with some of his blood, stage blood. Afterwards, We relaxed in the jazz lounge for a drink when a delightful young woman asked if she could share our table. Well, the wonderful Laura Michelle Kelly turned out to be the Olivia Award-winning actress who was playing Mary Poppins on Broadway. Fun story, right? Yes. But get this, with a little massaging, here's what it becomes. There I was, listening to a jazz quartet in an abandoned high school covered in Macbeth's blood, when who should sit down but Mary Poppins. I have the best life. If you're going to spice up a presentation or writing with a story, first hook the audience with the situation, complication, and question as discussed in part 1. Bring in some characters from real life or fiction, then create a goal for them and an obstacle they must overcome. Have them overcome the obstacle in a way that weaves in what you're presenting. Capture and use the humor you encounter in daily life, as well as the everyday situations and people who can be retold into something extraordinary. The last time I saw Laura Michelle Kelly, she was surrounded by a whirlwind of silver sparkles as Peter Pan stepped through a window and flew her off to Neverland. And that one I'm also not making up. This is Steve Robbins. Email questions and topic suggestions to getitdone@quickanddirtytips.com. I help high achievers accelerate or change careers by creating a powerful reputation, public presence, and brand. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.